We see a girl named Chloe at the start of the story who got a notice from a bank because they haven't paid their house loan, which means they didn't return the amount they took for building their house. That's why the bank wants to set their house on auction. Chloe's mom was no more, and her father also died in an accident a few days ago, but the bank didn't give them the amount while blaming that he had ended himself willingly. They weren't giving them the insurance amount. Chloe was in a bad condition. Even though she has no money to pay college fees, she calls the bank and tries to convince them, but none are ready to hear her. Chloe then calls her brother. She asks him to meet her. Chloe's brother and his friend Ross are shown worried because of money, so they think of a robbery in a shop, and they also have a fake gun. A man moves out of the shop and shoots at Ross due to it. He falls there, and Chloe's brother gets sacred and escapes from there. Her brother comes home and tells his sister everything and says, "I escaped from a huge trouble." Chloe bandages her brother's wounds and asks, "How did all this happen?" He says, "Your friend Ross has died. We went to a ship for a robbery," and Chloe gets surprised to hear this. She says, "What? Ross? Is he dead?" Her brother says, "Nothing was easy for me, and I am stuck in huge trouble." He says, "I believe that you will make everything fine," but she says, "Let me think." She asks, "Where is the car on which you went for the robbery?" And he replies, "I have burned that car. Only one thing can save me, and that is Ross's mobile, on which we have planned the robbery." On the other side, the police arrived at the crime scene and sent Ross's body to the mortuary. Chloe says, "What? Did you plan a robbery on your phone? You know you are of what age? In just 25 years, what if the police find you through the phone? They will capture you and take you away. Let me think something up and make a plan to find that phone that was in the mortuary because the police sent all evidence there." Chloe was a medical student and knew everything before telling her brother that Ross's dead body would be placed in a box in the mortuary. Later, they will place all the evidence found with him in one place. As the morning appears, after the medical checkup, his dead body and evidence will be handed over to the police. "We have this night and we have to do something." They tried to go to that mortuary's building, but they couldn't. Meanwhile, Chloe's brother remembers a lady from whom he used to buy drugs who works in a clinic. They buy a drug from her, a drug with which the body gets cold and also slows the heartbeat. It seems the human is dead, and Chloe says to her brother, "I will inject this drug's injection. After a while, my body will become cold, and my heartbeat will also stop for a short time. Do call the police after a while and tell them that you found a dead body on the road. Later, they will send me to the mortuary for my medical checkup, so that they can find out my death's reason. I will return home easily while taking all the evidence." Chloe was doing all this to save her brother. She injected the drug, and then she woke up in the mortuary. It was happening the same way they thought. She came to her senses and saw there was only a white cloth on her body and a name tag on her feet. Chloe was still unconscious and couldn't control herself. She sees many dead bodies being brought into the mortuary. She peeps through the door and sees a man walking to her. He was a doctor named Coroner who used to do medical checkups on dead bodies and commit wrongdoing here. The coroner comes to the room where Chloe was, and she gets scared and lies down on her bed again. She puts the cloth on her face because she was scared of being caught. Anyhow, the coroner takes a dead body from there on a stretcher, and Chloe comes out of the room as he leaves. She looks around and finds a girl's dead body in a room that was in a weird condition. She gets scared to see her, but then she takes clothes from there and wears them. Meanwhile, when the coroner comes out of the room, he hears a bell ringing from outside and opens the door from the control room. There was a man who came to meet the coroner and said, "Don't you feel scared in this mortuary? How do you stay alone here?" Then he says, "I need a liver," and Chloe is also hearing all this. She discovers that a man has come here to buy human organs from the coroner. He leaves after telling this to the coroner. The coroner closed all the doors when he left. Chloe also reaches the room where her friend Ross's dead body was placed. She starts weeping while seeing his dead body. The coroner has taken out his liver, but he was still alive, and Chloe is surprised to see this and says to Ross, "Don't worry, I will take you out from here. Don't make a noise so that none will discover about us." The coroner was about to take out human organs from a dead body in another room. He used to sell them, and in return, he got a heavy amount. He places his watch, keys, and ring aside before operating. The cutter the coroner had, through which he cut that dead body to take our organs, has a loud voice. Chloe takes advantage of it and escapes while taking the keys. She comes to the main gate along with Ross. The coroner becomes free from his job and starts finding the keys, but he can't find them. Then he sees Chloe and Ross in the camera and hurriedly moves to them with poisonous gas. Ross also had lost courage and said to Chloe, "Look, I can't walk anymore, I know I will not be saved, so leave alone from here. But then the coroner arrived and made them faint with the poisonous gas. Chloe finds herself tied to the bed when she comes to her senses. Ross was also with her but was still unconscious. The coroner was also there. Chloe says, "Please let us leave," but he says, "Girl, what did you think? You will come here and save your friend. This can't happen. You people do robberies, and it is common for you to tease people. When you are alive, you are useless to me, but yes, you will be worth millions after death. I will sell all your organs, and in return, I will get a heavy amount. Then your organs will be used by the people who have the right to stay alive." The coroner places a cut on Ross's body in front of Chloe, and after it, he tries to take out his liver. After a long time, he has taken out his liver while putting his hand inside, put it in a bag, and kept it in a cooler. Chloe panics seeing all this, and she tries to release herself when the coroner leaves. She has cut her hands belts with the cutter placed there. The cutter made a loud voice that also the coroner listens to. When he comes hurriedly to see that Chloe wasn't there because she hides there, he finds Chloe along with a knife. Chloe finds a liquid nitrogen gas cylinder, and taking it, she goes to the room where the evidence was. She moves inside while breaking its lock and also finds the box to have all the things that belong to Ross. Meanwhile, the coroner arrives, but seeing him, Chloe hides there, and he finds Ross's phone in that box. Meanwhile, Chloe comes in front of him, she points a gun at the coroner and asks for the phone, but he says this isn't a genuine gun, so don't frighten me with it. We can't leave a real gun like this, neither it is fake nor it has a bullet. But then Chloe shoots his eye. It was fake, and after it, she runs from there. The coroner was also behind her, and he went to Ross's dead body, then moved his phone near his face, and his phone unlocked. Chloe also reached the basement while running and saw many patients. They were alive, but a few of their body organs were missing. The coroner kept them alive because he sold their body organs. Chloe hears the coroner's voice in the microphone, who was saying, "Now I understand you came here to escape your brother. I have seen the video. Now no one can save your brother." Hearing this, she moves to the coroner's office and calls her brother, saying, "Maybe I will not escape from here, but take care of yourself." The coroner arrives after a while. His dog was also with him. Chloe's brother reaches the police, hearing all this from Chloe. The coroner's dog was behind Chloe. The coroner has sent it behind her. Chloe tries to escape and throws Ross's liver in a room. Chloe shuts the door when the dog moves behind it. She also sees on the cameras that her brother came with a police officer to save her. Later, she hurriedly opens the main gate and tells the officer about the coroner. He says, "I already doubt that man. I knew that man did something wrong here," but saying this, he starts beating Chloe and her brother because the officer was also with the coroner. Chloe here scares the police officer while showing the fake gun. Meanwhile, the coroner's voice is heard through the mic saying, "This gun is fake, but do tell them anything, I want them alive." But Chloe and her brother ran from the back door. The police officer also sent the coroner's dog behind them, and Chloe and her brother hid in the basement. They close the gate from inside, but the police officer also reaches there and understands, while seeing the dog near the door, that they are inside the basement, so he locks the door with the handcuffs. Meanwhile, the man who asked the coroner for a liver arrives, but the coroner says your task isn't done yet. It will take 1 hour, but that man sees the police car and understands that the police are also with the coroner. Suddenly, the police officer shoots him from behind because he doesn't want anyone to know that the police are also with the coroner. On the other hand, Chloe and her brother move again to the evidence room through the basement. They see the coroner and the police officer talking about how they will blame Chloe and her brother for the man killed by the officer here. Chloe and her brother take that man again to the basement. He wasn't dead but was unconscious. The coroner has seen them while moving there, and they take that man to the place where the coroner kept other patients. Meanwhile, the officer arrives and leaves the poisonous gas there, but Chloe makes her brother and that man wear masks. She says to go out from here, and I will dodge them and come out soon. Chloe's brother says to the man who was still alive that I will save your life, but in return, you have to pay me, and that man agrees. When he was taking him and was about to attack the police officer further, the coroner came from behind and fainted Chloe's brother while giving him an electric shock. Chloe's condition was also worse because of the gas, so she found an oxygen cylinder and put a hammer hard on it. It hits the police officer's face, and this causes his death. The coroner also panics because of his death. That's why he shoots all the patients there and drags Chloe's brother with him because he needs a liver, and he was about to take out the liver of Chloe's brother. The coroner was saying I had the answers to all deaths except for the police officer. Chloe also wants to save her brother's life, so she reaches the room but doesn't find the coroner because he hides there. Chloe sees her brother and tries to make him come to his senses, but the coroner holds her from behind. Here, Chloe leaves the gas on him to escape from the nearby cylinder, which makes his face freeze. Later, she hits that cylinder on his face that crushes half of his face. Seeing this happening to him, the coroner becomes insane and takes a huge knife to end Chloe, but then the man saved by Chloe and her brother comes. He ends the coroner while stabbing him with a knife. They were saved. Chloe's brother says to the man, "I saved your life, so give me the money you promised," but the man says, "I saved your life, you have to donate me a liver if you want money." These siblings need money, so Chloe gives him the coroner's liver. They locked his dog in the building. After it, they came out, and that man also transferred money to their account. Chloe says to the man, "You need a doctor," and he says, "Yes, I'm going there and can give you a lift if you want to." They came out safely while sitting in his car, and none were left alive in the building except for the coroner's dog. His dog was eating his dead body, and Chloe saved her brother while showing bravery but couldn't save her friend. Here is where the story of the movie ends.